Listen up, there's not a moment to spare. It's quite a drop from the top, so how you feeling down there? It's a cold, cruel, harsh reality. Caught, stuck here with your enemies. Who do you think you are? Tearing us all apart. Where did you think you could go? 'Cause everyone already knows it's 20 to 1. Yeah, so you better run. You got the world on its knees. You're taking all that you please. You want more, but you get nothing from me. You like the burden we bear. You love the hate that we share. You want more, but you get nothing from me. But enemies, enemies. You started something that you just couldn't stop. You turned the ones that you love into the angriest mob. And the one last wish is that you pay for it. And there's no way you're getting out of this. Who do you think you are? Tearing us all apart. Where did you think you could go? 'Cause everyone already knows it's 20 to 1. Yeah, so you better run. You got the world on its knees. You're taking all that you please. You want more, but you get nothing from me. You like the burden we bear. You love the hate that we share. You want more, but you get nothing from me. But enemies, enemies, enemies. Where did you think you could go? 'Cause everyone already knows it's 20 to 1. Yeah, so you better run. You got the world on its knees. You're taking all that you please. You want more, but you get nothing from me. You like the burden we bear. You love the hate that we share. You want more, but you get nothing from me. You got the world on its knees. You're taking all that you please. You want more, you get nothing from me. You like the burden we bear. You love the hate that we share. You want more, you get nothing from me. But enemies, enemies,
If you smell what the rock is cooking. I hear voices in my head. They counsel me. They understand. They talk to me. You got your rules and your religion, all designed to keep you safe. But when rules start getting broken, you start questioning your faith. I have a voice that is my savior, hates to love and loves to hate. I have a voice that has the knowledge and the power to your fate. I hear voices crying.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the WWE Wrestling Talk Show with Reese Rock Jones, and our launch schedule of shows continues as we bring you our No Mercy reactions.
Yes, and there definitely was no mercy.
So let's get underway. As usual, there was one more match added that we did not cover in our previous show, and that was this match added to the pre-show card, which was Elias taking on Apollo Crews. Nobody cares, so we'll just say Elias won.
Anyway, moving on to the main card.
The main card opened up with The Miz defending the Intercontinental Championship against Kurt Angle 2.0, otherwise known as Jason Jordan.
Now, this match at the start is what you would expect for a match, but overall, this was a good match to start, apart from the ending.
Yes, what is there to say apart from, once again, just like we're on SmackDown, that the Sin Brothers are always the deciding factor, but that's a show for a different time, a discussion for a different time. Here we have the Miztourage of Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel being the difference maker.
So then Axel then hit the cheap shot onto Jason Jordan, allowing The Miz to finish the finale and retain the Intercontinental Championship.
However, his victory party was not without controversy, because the next night on Raw we had an episode of Miz TV with Roman Reigns, in which he discussed his match, which we will get to a little later,
Yes.
and then basically challenged The Miz. They competed in a match later on the night, only for Roman Reigns to win, but to be on the receiving end of a beatdown, and of course the mockery of the group formerly known as The Shield.
Oh boy. Mr. Raj, you should not have done that.
And then next week on Raw now, we have an Intercontinental Championship match between The Miz and Roman Reigns.
And to knowledge, if Roman Reigns wins, then he will become a Grand Slam champion.
I would expect him to win the title, but just not yet.
Yep, not yet.
Next we had Bray Wyatt taking on Finn Balor. Now, Bray Wyatt has basically throughout this entire film been calling Finn Balor a coward.
But that was nothing compared to what he did as Balor was making his entrance.
Yes, Bray Wyatt calls Finn Balor a coward, and yet it's Bray Wyatt who attacks Finn Balor from behind.
Yeah, and also made matters worse, he even back suplexed him onto the announce table, injuring Balor's ribs.
Despite this, and despite referees trying to help Finn Balor to the back, Finn Balor got back into the ring and the match got underway.
Yes, and what can we say? This match, despite the controversial start, was actually pretty good.
Well,
Let's keep this match no background storyline.
and to keep up with his long tradition of not winning any rivalries, or appearing not to win any rivalries, Bray Wyatt was on the receiving end of a coup de grace for Finn Balor to pick up a free count. However, this issue does not appear to be over at all, because on Raw, after a match with Goldust, it looked
For some random reason.
we had fireflies everywhere in the ring when the lights went out, and we had the same little girl or whoever it is to the "I've got the whole world in my hands, I've got the whole wide world in my hands" song.
Oh no. And you know that, don't you?
Probably that they can have some kind of stipulation match on October the 22nd when Raw presents Tables, Ladders and Chairs.
Only time will tell though.
Next, we saw Cesaro and Sheamus execute their rematch clause for the Raw Tag Team Championships against 2/3 of the Shield in Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Now, what is there to say about this?
Yeah, this match I think was contender of the night.
The contender for match of the night.
However, for one team in Cesaro and Sheamus, it appears that Cesaro have needed to take a trip to the dentist.
Yes, Cesaro was forced to wrestle, about 10 minutes or so of this match with his 2 front teeth knocked out after being swung into the turnbuckle and having a bit of a nasty landing with a ring post.
Yeah, so Cesaro was wrestling for 20 minutes without injury.
10 minutes more like.
We don't know.
Probably more of a bot because we know of no blood rule this year. But the match ended with a knee from Rollins into a dirty deeds and a 1, 2, 3.
That's the Raw Tag Team Championships.
Next, we moved on to the other championship match, which was the Fatal 5-Way for the Raw Women's Championship, which was originally a one-on-one match, then got turned into a Fatal 4-Way match on this past Monday Raw, got turned into a Fatal 5-Way. This was Bayley, Emma, Nia Jax and Sasha Banks all challenging Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship. Now, I would just like to point something out at the moment. We all know that Cesaro competes with his tape around his shoulder area, or one of his shoulders. At the moment, at least, Bayley is doing the same thing.
Yeah, she is.
Because we all know she has only recently come back from an injury that took her out of the SummerSlam match. As we expect with multi-person matches, the action was fast, furious and everywhere.
And some very interesting highlights as well. A powerbomb on Nia.
Now, this is the way I saw this going. I immediately ruled out Emma because of the way her character's been over the past couple of months with the whole Emmalina thing, then back to Emma. I kind of ruled out Nia Jax because I didn't believe that she was quite there yet.
And you want now.
So for me it came down between Sasha Banks, or can you really take her seriously when when in her 4 reigns as champion, she's barely held on to the championship for 2 months combined. Then
Really?
Bailey, do you really put the championship back on her straight away after coming back from injury? And then, of course, Alexa Bliss, who always seems to find a way out, which in the end she did, because the match ended with a Bliss hitting a snap DDT on Bailey for Alexa Bliss to remain Raw Women's Champion. However, things did not end there, because we have possibly gotten 2 challenges for her going forward. One was on Raw Talk when she decided to talk trash about Mickie James, and then Mickie James came out to the ring on Raw and did not quite appreciate that, and gave her 2 slaps and a good kick. Then there's also the fact that we discovered that debuting at Tables, Ladders and Chairs will be the undefeated, longest reigning NXT Women's Champion, Asuka.
Yes, she will be debuting at TLC.
And the question is, who will face Bliss? Will it be Asuka? Quite possibly. Will it be Mickie James? Quite possibly again.
Yep, fine.
Next, we moved on to the match of the night in probably many people's opinion. And this was the match between John Cena and Roman Reigns.
Where in with this?
Now, a lot of people, well, there were rumours of Undertaker appearance coming along here because of what had been said in promos.
And he acts in the stable.
However, that did not occur, at least yet. And these two basically blew the house over. Say what you want to about either competitor, as the crowd so obviously says, they both suck.
Yes.
Won't can't do a promo. Well, say whatever you want about them. They put on good matches. Then we had attitude adjustments, Superman punches. We had a super attitude adjustment. We had a spear through an announce table. Then we had 2 attitude adjustments in a row, which all resulted in near falls. The match ended with Roman Reigns hitting a Superman punch and a spear. Now, after this, it kind of reminded me of the WrestleMania 29 moment between John Cena and The Rock, which was a kind of passing of a torch moment. After the match, they embraced. Cena sat in the ring. The chants of "Thank you, Cena." There have been rumors that John Cena will be retiring from professional wrestling. But one thing we do know is that he will be taking another leave of absence from the WWE as he goes to shoot the Transformers Bumblebee spin-off. Next, we have the Cruiserweight Championship match when the king of the Cruiserweights took on Enzo Amore.
Now,
What to say, poor Enzo.
yes, Enzo indeed.
Because the match ended. It wasn't a particularly long match.
But Enzo played interesting mind games.
Yes, Neville basically controlled the match until the ending when Enzo grabbed the Cruiserweight Championship, used it to distract the referee, then hit Neville where the sun doesn't shine. In other words, a low blow.
And then rolls up 1, 2, 3.
Which means, as Howard Finkel would say, here is your winner and the new WWE Cruiserweight Champion, Enzo Amore.
Now this is where things get really interesting because this past Monday night on Raw, he had his championship celebration.
Yes, he did, and let's just say, as was possibly seen at No Mercy, we had a heel turn.
In other words, you can call it a double turn.
Yes, almost in the style of Stone Cold and Bret Hart.
Yes, because Enzo Amore is now the heel, and Neville is now the face.
So let's basically give you the rundown. Enzo Amore comes down for a celebration. Says he's retiring his certified G t-shirt. Does a promo saying how if Big Cass thought that Enzo was holding him back, and yet Enzo is champion and Big Cass is nowhere at the moment. Then the entire Cruiserweight division come out onto the stage, and he starts running all of them down one by one.
And then out comes Neville, and then Enzo has a sheet of paper in his hand.
That sheet of paper basically says that Neville cannot touch Enzo, otherwise he will lose his rematch for the Cruiserweight Championship. And let's just say Neville cut a promo pretty much like this. You are here, you got dumped on our doorstep because no one else will have you. You, Enzo Amore, are a disgrace. All you have done is disgrace them, referring to the entire Cruiserweight division. Disgrace this division. Disgrace the Cruiserweight Championship. And when you kicked him in the place where the sun doesn't shine, he disgraced him. So he goes on to say, on behalf of the entire Cruiserweight division, Enzo Amore, I am here to end you. Drops the microphone, goes to the ring. Enzo tries to stop him by reminding him of this piece of paper, except Neville basically says screw it and beats the living daylights out of Enzo.
But then the beatdown for Enzo didn't stop there, because as Raw went off the air, he got attacked by Braun Strowman.
Yes, Braun Strowman was not in a happy mood, and we'll get to that in in a couple of minutes, Braun Strowman came out, did his power slam. As he left the ring, he basically looked at the entire cruiserweight division and said, "You want him? Be my guest."
The seven cruiserweights took in turns to tee off on Enzo
I cannot see this title reign lasting too long. I mean, we can't really take him seriously.
Nobody can take him seriously. But now,
we go on to the main event of the evening. This was the Universal Championship match featuring the Monster Among Men, Braun Strowman, taking on the reigning, defending, undisputed Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar.
So, Monster versus Beast.
Now, let's just say that for this match, what do we say other than, well, we saw, like the previous Monday on Raw, that Suplex City was more or less negated.
Yes.
And closed down. Because this match got underway. Lesnar tried to hit the suplex on Strowman, but Strowman, just like before, got straight back up, hit a choke slam and his running power slam for a near fall. Lesnar was basically being manhandled or monster handled. Brock Lesnar did manage to hit the Kimura to take Strowman down, but after the ropes, we had, I think it was one or two, we had a few more running power slams, which resulted in a near fall. At the end, we had a few more suplexes, which he didn't quite get up so fast from. And as Strowman was going for what was possibly the deciding running power slam, Lesnar was able to get him up and hit the F5 for the 1, 2, 3. So, the winner of the match, and still reigning, defending, undisputed Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar.
Yes, it's a very mean Braun Strowman.
Now, it's always been a case of that it only takes one RKO.
But it only took.
Well, now we can change that to it only takes one F5. Now, certain people have been saying that this match was disappointing, possibly because of the quality of John Cena and Roman Reigns, but personally, I think that it made a nice difference not to have a match where Brock Lesnar was basically raping the other superstar. And how many times have we seen it with Brock Lesnar where he's just in a one-sided beatdown, but he's the one doing the one-sided stuff? I mean, apart from Strowman, there's only one other person who has had any sort of beatdown on Lesnar, and that was Goldberg.
Yes. What happens? So that brings us to
as Raw will be coming at you for their next pay-per-view on August the 22nd.
But in a week's time, we have SmackDown with Hell in a Cell.
Until then, he's been
Jean-Randy Smith.
and I've been Bruce Rock Jones, and we will see you for Hell in a Cell.